Hello everybody, my name is Quinn and welcome to my channel. So today we are going to be doing my March wrap-up and my April TBR, so let's just jump right in. The first book that I read in the month of March was I finished Truth Witch by Susan Dennard. This book is about two witches, Safi and Iz, and they're being hunted by a blood witch. Safi is a truth witch and Iz can see the binds that tie people. It's a really interesting premise and a very interesting world, and that's what I loved about this novel. The world was very unique, but it was also so well developed, but at the same time it left some things to the imagination which made you really want to read the rest of the series, and I can't wait for the next book. I really liked the female friendship in this book, and also there was a very slow building romance. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars, and I can't wait to read what else Susan Dennard has in store for this series. The second book that I read in the month of March was The Shadow Queen by C.J. Redwine. This is a loose retelling of Snow White. It follows Lorelai and an evil queen, Irina. Irina is her stepmother, and Irina kills Lorelai's father. Lorelai flees from the kingdom. Everyone thinks she's dead, and after like 9 years or something, she tries to reclaim her throne because Irina is just kind of pure evil. They both have magic, and Lorelai uses hers for good and Irina uses hers for evil. I really did not like this novel. I have a full spoiler-free review that I will link up here if you want to go watch it, but the plot was very predictable, and not just because it was a retelling. I always kind of knew what was going to happen, and I really just didn't care for the characters that much. I only gave it 2.75 out of 5 stars, but check out my spoiler-free review for more of my thoughts on this book. The third book that I read in the month of March was Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban by J.K. Rowling. This completed the 3rd month of my Harry Potter challenge, where I read 1 book a month until July, and then obviously Harry Potter and the Cursed Child comes out in end of July, so I'll read that in August. But really, I loved this book. I think it's really interesting how J.K. Rowling makes the tone of the novels more mature as Harry grows up. So while the books still have that magical wonderfulness that we all love out of the Harry Potter series, the novels do change as Harry changes, and I think that's a great thing that J.K. Rowling is able to put in her books, and I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read in the month of March was my most anticipated release of 2016, so I was really excited to read this book, and that is Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. For those of you who don't know, Lady Midnight is the first book in Cassandra Clare's new series, The Dark Artifices. It follows Julian and Emma at the Los Angeles Institute, and a bunch of murders have been happening in Los Angeles and the Downworlds, and Julian and Emma have to investigate that and how that relates to their life. So I really love this book. Cassandra Clare is so great at creating these kick-ass characters, and even the characters who are very shady and kind of evil a little bit, you still feel yourself empathizing with them, and I just feel like she creates characters with so much depth and so much to them, and that's really just a credit to her as an author. This book turned so many like twists and turns that I just didn't expect that they were coming, and I'm going to post a full review and discussion of this book on my channel later on this week, but I absolutely love this book. I can't wait for Lord of Shadows to come out, and I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. The last book that I read in the month of March was November 9 by Colleen Hoover. In all my other videos I kept saying November 9th, but I guess it's just November 9. Basically, November 9 follows Fallon and Ben, and they meet on Fallon's last day in Los Angeles before she moves across the country to New York. They kind of have an instant connection. They agree that every year they will meet on November 9th so that Fallon can pursue her dreams and so that Ben can write a novel based on their story together. I think that's all you should go into this book knowing. I kind of went in knowing a little bit more, and then I wasn't really surprised when something happened. But other than that, I don't really read a lot of new adult books. I think I used to read a lot a couple of years ago. I kind of felt like this was very similar to a lot of the new adult books that I've read, but I still really enjoyed it. I thought that the characters' relationship was really cute. It was kind of insta-lovey, but I mean, it's a contemporary novel. I kind of expected that. But it was just a really fun, quick read. I literally read this in 1 day, and I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. And now I'm going to jump into all the books that I plan to read in the month of April. I can already tell you guys that I probably will not get through all these books. It's my last month of college. I have so many tests and papers and projects and speeches that it's not even funny, and on top of that I have all of my final exams, and I'm going to be actually moving out of college, so I have to pack and I'll do that fun stuff. So it's not going to be a huge reading month, I can probably already tell you, but I'm going to try, and if I do, these are the books that I am going to read in the month of April. I'm going to start by saying all the books that I have to read for my lit class this month, the first being Mouse by Art Spiegelman. This is a graphic novel and it follows a father and a son, and the father is telling the son his story in the Holocaust and how he escaped the Holocaust. So obviously it's a very powerful story, and I'm really excited to see whether or not I like the graphic novel as a genre, so that will be interesting to see. I've already read sort of like half of this, but I'm going to read the rest of it in April, and I already really love the story, but I'm kind of curious to see how I will like the graphic novel once I'm done with it. I'm not completely convinced that it's for me, but my opinion could change by the time I finish this book in the month of April. The next book that I'm reading for my lit class is The Road by Cormac McCarthy. I apologize, I was packing to come home this weekend and I forgot a book in my dorm room, but basically The Road, I think it follows a father and son in post-apocalyptic America after a nuclear war, which sounds totally fascinating, and I love that sort of stuff, so I'm really excited to read that, and I think that will be one of the most fascinating books we've read in our class, so I really hope that I enjoy it. I am really excited to read that book in the month of April. The first book I will kind of be reading for pleasure this month is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire by J.K. Rowling, and I'm really looking forward to reading this book because, one, it completes month 4 of my Harry Potter challenge, and second, this was my favorite movie out of the whole franchise, so I'm really excited because I know the books will only be better. I love this idea of a Triwizard tournament. It's kind of like Hunger Game meets Harry Potter, so it'll be really interesting to read this because I haven't seen the movie in forever, and I'm just really looking forward to reading this book in the month of April. The next book that I plan on reading in the month of April is A Court of Thorn and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I got this book in December for Christmas, but I've been putting it off reading it till now because A Court of Mist and Fury comes out on May 3rd, for those of you who don't know, and I just really enjoy marathoning a series and reading one after another, so I'm really excited to read this. Basically all I know about this book right now is that it's a loose retelling of Beauty and the Beast, and it has to do with fairies, which is something I was really interested in the Throne of Glass series, so I can't wait to read this, and I just love Sarah J. Maas's writing style. She has amazing characters, and I can't wait to see if I like this book just as much as the Throne of Glass series. And if by some miracle I get through all of those books, I will be reading Attachments by Rainbow Rowell. This book follows 3 characters. One is a man who is hired basically to spy into the emails of a company and make sure that they're using their email for work purposes and that they're doing their job. And he comes across 2 women's emails, and obviously they're just kind of corresponding and chatting, and he knows that he should turn them in, but he starts to kind of fall in love with one of them just based on their emails, and he has to deal with the fact that he really can't talk to them because, like, what is he gonna say? Like, I'm the creepy guy who reads your emails. So I'm really excited to read this. I think it'll just be a nice, like, light contemporary to read at the end of a hard month. So I'm really hoping I get to this book this month, but I'm not counting on it. But I love Rainbow Rowell, and I can't wait to see if this book is just as amazing as all of her other books. So that was my March wrap-up and my April TBR. I hope you guys liked it. Please leave a comment down below on what you guys read in March and what you plan to read in April. I would love to hear it. Thank you guys all so much for watching. I will see you next week. Bye, guys.